Hey guys, it's me, Desiree Marie. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to all of my subbies who I call my crew members, and welcome if you are watching me for the very first time. Just to reintroduce myself, I'm Desiree Marie and I do lock videos. I talk about my locks. I bring you guys along with me as I wash, maintain, and even style my hair. I like to do cool things to my hair, and I show you guys an in-depth look of what my journey looks like from beginning to end. The ups, the downs, the good, the bad, and yes, there are some ugly moments, but I learned to embrace it, and I come here just to share my journey in hopes that it will inspire you and even motivate you while you're on your lock journey. I've been locked for 2 years now, so if you're interested in seeing what my journey looks like, definitely do hit the subscribe button and become a part of the crew. But hey guys, welcome to yet another lock video. Yes, I know it's been a little while, but we're back in action. Today I want to do a lock Q&A video just to answer a lot of the questions that I've been receiving, a lot of the questions that I've seen as well here on YouTube. I thought I would come back and kind of answer you guys' questions as we move forward into our fresh new content. So if you have any more questions that I have not answered in this video, feel free to ask them down below so that we can answer your questions down below and I can feature your question in a future video. But yes, if you see a little paper, yes, I wrote my questions down as I always do. I'm going to be answering these questions that have a lot to do with different things concerning locks. Girl, if you have a comment, an answer, something that you want to add to the answers that I provide, let us know down below, because look, I'm not a loctician. However, I have, gone through a few things here and there in my lock journey where I feel like I can provide a little bit of my insight, but don't take my insight as law, okay? Anyways, our first question, let's get on to the first question, shall we? So the first question that I see here is, what are locks and dreadlocks? Are the terms interchangeable? Oh boy, I did a video on this, I think last year, and it was on the topic, what are locks and what are dreadlocks? Dreadlocks versus locks, which one do you have? And I can only give my answer according to my perspective, because we all, give answers according to our vantage points. For me, I think that both terms are perfectly fine. I tend to use the word locks a lot here on YouTube because I know that my wide audience prefers the term locks rather than dreadlocks. But I don't have a problem with the word dreadlocks because I know that it does not mean anything like what we may think like dreadlocks means. It's dreadful, your hair looks horrible. No, in fact, dread means amazing, to be honored. Like it's like a symbol of like almost like royalty, like astonishment. And to say dreads is not a bad term at all. It's not a bad thing. But I know a lot of people are very sensitive to that, and they do not wish to have their hair called dreads or dreadlocks. So what I do is I kind of use the terms interchangeably on my platform because my audience includes a wide variety of people. People who prefer the word locks and that, have a sense of like knowledge as far as history and what their preferences are. And I also have people that prefer the term dreadlocks, or they just don't know that there is a difference. Personally, I think when we start labeling things and going into detail, that it just becomes so clouded that we tend to divide our own community when we say, well, I don't have dreadlocks, I have, it's just crazy. When we look back at the definition of what dread is, it's not supposed to be taken as in our hair, in the hair world, is not to be taken as awful and dirty and disgusting. It's actually a symbol of beauty, and it's something to be prideful of. I believe. Like, I love my locks, I love my dreadlocks, I love my dreads, but I know everybody has their own different opinion. So if you have an opinion and you'd like to express it respectfully, let us know down below. But personally, I don't think that we should have any differences as far as the words are concerned, and I believe you can use it interchangeably. That's what I do, but I know not everybody is the same way as me, you know. And that's not a bad thing at all. You know, we all have our differences. I tend to embrace everyone's, you know, opinions and what they have to say here on my channel, because I don't want people to come here thinking that they can't express themselves. However, I do want people to be respectful. So I celebrate unity of different opinions and ideas here on my channel. You won't see me differentiate one from another, not at all. Okay, so the next question is, how often should I wash or shampoo my locks? Wash and shampoo your locks when your hair feels like it needs to be washed. And I think that comes from knowing your hair and having a relationship with your hair. Knowing what you like, knowing what you don't like, knowing what your hair usually feels like, and what it feels like when it's loaded with many products. So I would say, instead of asking how often you should wash your hair, perhaps ask, how do I get to know my hair for itself? Because everyone's hair is different. Me, I don't wash my hair every week. I don't even wash it every 2 weeks. I wash it maybe twice a month, sometimes once a month. And some people might look at me like,
ew, that's disgusting. Like, how could you do that?
I can do that because I don't put a lot of products in my hair. I use oils, and I don't even use oils very much where my hair would weigh heavy and it would need to be washed. But it is different for a lot of people. So if you are the type of person that uses a lot of different products in your hair, you use the mousses, you use the creams, you use the gels, you use the edge control every day, like, you should probably wash your hair more often. But for me, a person like me that uses mostly oils, yeah, you use a little bit of edge control when you refresh your retwist, but you don't use it every single day or every week. For me, I wash maybe every other week. So maybe every 2 weeks, twice a month. But yeah, it all comes back to knowing your hair, knowing what you put in your hair, and having a real relationship with your strands. I say this a lot, and I'll say it again, like, when you lock your hair, you really get to know yourself on a different level, on a deeper level than anything else, because your locks really show you what your hair is like in its most raw state, and now you're given the responsibility to learn it in its most authentic, genuine state, which is the most beautiful thing ever. So get to know your hair, see what works for you, and do that. But I would not say, you know, go months without washing your hair, because even when you don't use many products, you still want to make sure your scalp is clean and you're maintaining, you know, healthy growing hair by washing it more often than not often. So I would say don't go any less than once a month without washing your hair if you are like me. But we're all different, so comment down below how often you wash your hair, and I would love to know that. Just comment that down below, okay? Next question, is my scalp always going to be so visible? So I see this question a lot with like underneath pictures online where people get their fresh retwists as they're just starting off their lock journeys, and they realize, wow, like, this is not the way that I wanted it to be. This is not how I thought my hair would look. I thought my hair would look more full and, you know, thick, but it turns out my scalp is showing a lot. And I remember when my mom, who is also here on YouTube, her name is Velvet Locs, she has locks and they're velvet. But when she first started her locks, she realized that when she started with her 2-strand twists, that they were very scattered and a lot of her scalp showed. That is because she has low density hair, and that's perfectly fine. A lot of the people I know have low density hair, myself included, in different parts of my head. So that just comes from having a thinner texture. But as her locks began to grow in, it started to thicken it more, and now her roots are not as visible. Like, that's something that you can't run from anyway, because when you retwist your hair, you're going to see roots, you're going to see scalp. It's something that you just have to know. Unless you decide not to retwist your hair and you go freeform, that's awesome. But you're going to have to see your scalp at some time. If you're not so excited about that, try not to retwist as often and just let your roots grow a little bit puffier so that you get the volume, the look of, you know, full density that you want. But no, how you start your locks is not how you're going to look in the end. So a lot of people, they have this expectation that their locks are going to look long, full, just right out of their 2-strand twist. They start today and they expect the twist to get longer and longer. No, there is a process. In the beginning, you might look a little bit on the thinner side, but just be patient as your hair begins to expand and thicken up. And yeah, when you stop obsessing about the parting and the scalps and stuff like that, I think your lock journey becomes more enjoyable. As you learn to embrace yourself and really love your hair on a different level, you will not see these small details of you know, scalp exposure as something to be frightened with. You'll more be excited with the fact that you're growing with your hair. Not saying that the question is not important, but I do believe that once you get your eyes off of the way that you don't like how your hair looks in the beginning and just really start to embrace the journey, you start to grow inside and your hair will grow, and you will look up and realize, wow, my hair looks so much thicker than it did before. Like today, girl, like I had braids in my hair all last week, and I just decided on Friday to take it out, you know, celebrate, take out my 3-strand twist, or my braids. And today I'm looking at my hair like, wow, my hair really looks thicker than it used to look. Before, I was so obsessed with the fact that my hair was not looking the way that other people here on YouTube's hair look. And now I see a full head of thick hair, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, try not to obsess about scalp and density issues. Love and enjoy your hair for what it is. Work it, work it, work it, work it to the best of your ability. That's what I say. That's what I try to do as well. And I try to share hair as well so that you can be inspired with that. So hopefully that answered your question, but if anyone has any additional answers, let us know down below. Another question is, my scalp is itchy and dry. What can I do? This is a question that a lot of us want to know how we can avoid the itchy scalp. In the beginning of your lock journey, you do have a little bit of itchiness because you are used to one way of maintaining your hair, and now you are leaving your hair alone in the 2-strand twists. Yeah, you're washing it, but you're not going in. You're not like scratching it and doing all these, you know, you're leaving it to develop, and you're doing very minimal manipulation in the beginning so that you can keep the twist or the comb coils or whatever you start your hair with together. So I believe if you're in the beginning stages of your lock journey and you're suffering from itchy scalp and it's dry, I would suggest mixing tea tree oil with a carrier oil and applying that to your scalp. Of course, like I said in another video, when you use tea tree oil, you definitely have to be aware of the side effects it may have if you're pregnant. So if you're pregnant or you might be suffering from a medical condition, I would consult a doctor first. but in any other instances, tea tree oil is very good for maintaining a clean scalp. It's actually an antibacterial oil, and it's antifungal. So what it does is it naturally cleanses your scalp and leaves it feeling cool and refreshed. Another oil that's great to mix up with a carrier oil is peppermint oil. I use that very often, and I love the way that it makes my scalp feel very cool and fresh and clean. That's a great way to maintain your scalp even when you work out and you have just a very heavy, hectic lifestyle that requires more of your energy and strength. I believe those oils are great when you mix it up. And if you are still suffering from dry scalp conditions, I would look at my diet. Since I had decided to start drinking more water, I have not suffered from dry scalp as much as I used to. I realized before, the moment I touched my scalp, I was seeing flakes like it was Christmas time. But now that I'm drinking more water, I'm hydrating my body from the inside and it's showing on the outside. So look at your diet, see if maybe you're dehydrated, and fill that need with more water and more healthier eating choices. Not saying that you have to go vegan, but try to include healthier options into your diet, because what you put on the inside shows up on the outside. So try to do that. And yeah, if anyone else has any extra comments about dry scalp and itchy scalp, let us know down below. Okay, another question is the wax and gel going to stay in my locks forever? So I'm guessing that the question for this comes from someone who is wondering, okay, I just started my locks. Is this gel that I started my locks with, is this wax that I started my locks with going to stay in my hair forever? Wax, for one, I know wax is a very thick substance, and it's something that a lot of us cringe. When we hear about wax, we cringe because of the fact that it's so sticky, potent, and it's really difficult to get out of your locks, because your locks are like a spider web, and whatever you put in it in the beginning has the potential of staying in there. So wax, I don't 100% know if that will ever completely come out of your hair when you start your hair with locks and you allow it to harden and clump in your hair. But gel, depending on what type of gel you use, gel can be washed out within a few washes, maybe even using a residue shampoo like the Neutrogena residue shampoo. But if you're concerned about that, I would consider using the Neutrogena residue shampoo. That worked really well for me when I was going through it with the buildup issues. And just try it. If you're here and you have not locked your hair yet, the biggest piece of advice I can give on this is to be mindful of the products that you use when you start your locks, because I believe when I was going through it with the buildup issues, that was a reflection of the products that I used in the beginning. The products that I used were the Shea Moisture Curl Enhancing Smoothie or something like that. I used that. I used coconut oil, which is a no-no for my hair. Well, was a no-no for my hair back then. I think I can kind of use it now, but before it was not the best thing for me. And I was just using different heavy substances, like, because you know when you're loose natural, you have to do the LOC method, the LOC method, the leave-in, the what do you call it, the oil and the conditioning or something like that. And so that's what I did when I started my locks. I started on freshly washed hair. I put in all my products, the LOC method, and then I twisted my hair in 2-strand twists. But the thing about that is, as I continued on my lock journey and I finally washed my hair after 3 weeks, I was not like going in and washing it, scrubbing it and all of that, because I was trying to keep my 2-strand twist together. And I was really lightly washing my hair those first few times that I was washing, and in doing that I allowed those products to build up in my hair because I was not washing it the way that I usually do, and I was using a lot of the products. I was very heavy-handed with products. Look, so Will it ever come out of your hair? The answer is it could. I mean, anything is possible, but wax, I don't know if there's anything that really can help you with the wax situation if you have wax buildup. But with gels, I believe it is possible. You just have to use a little bit more effort, do more research, and try to see what's best for you. But if anyone has any extra answers, let us know down below. All right, another question, so we're moving forward. How do I get my locks to dry? Okay, that's pretty easy. So in the beginning of my journey, because I'm pretty much giving answers based on what I know, what I've done. In the beginning of my lock journey, I was grabbing whatever t-shirt, cotton t-shirt I had around and using that to dry my hair. And now I pretty much still use that method as well, but I have a cool product that I want to kind of release very shortly that will help a lot of us, you know, a lot of us with locks get our hair drier quicker. A lot of people use microfiber towels as well. But yeah, you can do that. Or if you live in a nice climate, you can air dry. Like, you can go outside and let the sun just naturally dry up your hair. That's what I do when it's nice out. You know, when we're going through it in New York and the heat wave is on us, I wash my hair and then I just, you know, squeeze out the extra moisture and just let it air dry outside in the sun. But right now is winter time, so I know a lot of us can't really do that. So apart from using a microfiber towel, you can just go right outside and let it air dry, or let it air dry as you move around in your home. Give yourself enough time to air dry. So you might want to wash in the morning or in the early afternoon and let it air dry, you know, throughout the day if you're staying home throughout the day. Give yourself enough time. That's a big point, because if you go to sleep on wet hair, what happens is you are contributing to a moldy environment that could result in mold and buildup and all those crazy issues that you really don't want. You want fresh, clean, healthy growing hair. So yeah, my advice would be to wash your hair in the beginning of the day, let it air dry. That's the easiest and most healthiest way to dry your hair. I see a lot of other people do this it's like some kind of cool like space looking hood, and it's like it has like a long tail and you can put your blow dryer into it. I would also, I want to do that actually. I want to kind of experiment using that type of dryer. I see a lot of people on here use it, and it's a great way to not get that like super heat exposure, but it's like giving, you know, it's like you get that air, but it's not on your scalp. It's not like intense on your hair, so it's not going to lead to heat damage or fried hair. It's actually like a healthy way of drying your hair. Hooded dryers, I mean, I know a lot of us still do, you know, sit under the hooded dryers, but I would not recommend to do that every single time. I would, you know, give myself a little bit of a break in between the hooded dryers, like maybe limit it to like once or twice every so often. But yeah, the most easiest and most healthiest way to dry your hair would be to air dry, and air dry the proper way. So yeah, I think we pretty much answered that pretty well, but if you have any more answers, let us know. Okay, so the last, oh no, that's not the last question. This is the second to last question. What is the best way to make locks more uniform? Well, sis, I can't really tell you that because my locks are not all the way uniformed. If you have seen my video where I give you guys a really up close and personal view of all of my locks, my trouble areas, my favorite areas, and all of that, you would know that my locks are different sizes, different shapes. They're bumpy, they're all over the place. Not all of them are completely cylinder, some of them are flat, some of them, they're just doing all sorts of stuff. So personally, I don't really care too much about keeping them all uniform, but if you are into that, I would suggest palm rolling. but don't palm roll too much. I am definitely an advocate of not palm rolling every time, but if you want your locks to have a nice cylinder look, do palm roll every so often. And what palm rolling does is it actually trains your hair to grow in that same cylinder shape that you want it to grow in. But just know your locks may not all of your locks are not going to look the same. Each of them are going to have a different, you know, look to them. So don't be so uptight about the uniform look, as opposed, or not as opposed to, but don't be so hung up on the uniform look rather than, well, is my hair healthy? Am I, you know, maintaining it in the best way possible? Because the uniform look will not be the same for everyone. You know, you might be looking at people on Pinterest or Instagram or even here on YouTube and thinking they have the most uniform locks, when in reality, if they get a little closer, their locks are all different. And it's just, you just have to learn to love your locks the way that it is. You know, you can palm roll all the time, but in reality your hair is going to do exactly what it wants to do, and you have to love yourself through the journey. So yeah, if you guys have uniform locks, please let us know so that we can know how you did it, because a lot of us here, I know we all have our different quirks and kinks when it comes to our locks. So the last question is, can you remove your locks? Yes, you can. I'm not here to, you know, promote you combing out your locks, but there are different instances by which we, you know, get to that conclusion whether or not we should remove our locks. But yes, you see people here all the time removing their locks. They comb out their locks. They use conditioner to make their hair soft and comb out their locks, and the process takes a long time, so you have to be committed to that thing. It takes some time, but you can do it. You can do anything you want with your hair, really and truly. I do think that if you interlock your hair more, I think it might be a little bit more difficult to comb out your locks, but I've seen people do it anyway and they've interlocked, so yeah, it's possible. But guys, thank you guys for watching yet another lock Q&A. Like I said in the beginning, if you have any questions that I did not tackle here on this video, let us know down below so that I can answer these in another video, and we can answer your questions down below quick, fast, and in a hurry so that you can get what you need to continue on your healthy lock journey. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you're not subscribed, what are you waiting on? Subscribe and become a part of the crew. I upload almost every day. I took a little bit of a break because I got married and, you know, just preparing and, you know, life, but we're back. I pretty much upload each and every day, almost every day, fresh new content, great stuff for you, to help you on your most healthiest hair journey possible. So yeah, and I also upload vlogs so that you can kind of get to know my life, you know, as a new wife and all that cool stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, hit the subscribe button. It's free, it's fun, you'll get something new almost every day. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining the crew. We are past 7,000 subscribers. Yes. Anyways, I'm talking way too much. I'm excited to be talking to you guys. I'm excited to bring these videos, and yes, I hope that you were inspired and you enjoy. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.